Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on WandaVision. This will be my review and breakdown for WandaVision episode 8, aka the penultimate episode. And once again, WandaVision continues to deliver. This episode was absolutely phenomenal, and finally, we get some answers to everything, including how Wanda was able to create the hex. If you guys haven't seen the episode, then what are you doing here? Spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, you have been warned. And also be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Marvel content coming your way. Okay, so this episode kicks off in the late 17th century where we get this short origin story with Agatha Harkness, as Agatha is being dragged somewhere by what it seems to be like a coven of witches, and basically she is being persecuted by the witches. Agatha basically pleads with her sisters and her mother, the leader of the coven, to spare her life, as she claims that she has not contributed to such a thing, such as practicing these darker magics at that age. But they basically refuse to do so. They deem her too dangerous, and they basically use their magic against her to obviously get rid of Agatha. But Agatha, however, is able to reverse the magic and basically suck the life essence out of everybody around there, including her own mother, which it was pretty damn dark, but it was to see how powerful Agatha was, which I thought it was great. But we then head back to where we last left off from last episode, where Agatha basically drops the bomb on Wanda and she reveals her motive. She wants to know how Wanda was able to do the hex and the whole Westview thing. She basically wants to know how Wanda was able to get so powerful and basically controlled a whole town for herself, with everyone still being active, but Wanda is doing it herself, like no one else basically controls the strings. It's just Wanda. She wants to know how that happens. And for now, Wanda is under Agatha's control because Wanda isn't able to use her powers due to the runes in the hidden basement, preventing Wanda from using her powers, but Agatha still could. In which Agatha takes Wanda to her past to travel through her memories to find out how she was able to create the hex and do this whole Westview thing, because Agatha did mention that she used fake Pietro to get through to Wanda, and just when Wanda was about to say it, she didn't. She didn't end up revealing how she was able to do it. Agatha does remember that one key detail where Wanda talked about a time where she was all alone and broken. So basically, Agatha takes a piece of Wanda's hair and she does some sort of magic with it, and eventually opening the doors to Wanda's memories. In which we then end up seeing Wanda and Pietro as kids growing up in Sokovia, and we pretty much see how much the family in general enjoy American sitcoms. I really like that addition because that was how Wanda was influenced by creating this sitcom world of hers, which I thought was great. Now, as a child, Wanda learned how nothing ever really goes wrong in sitcoms, and even if characters fall off a building and suffer injuries which would be lethal and would hurt a human in real life, they would be just fine in a sitcom. But we then have a bomb going off and killing Wanda's parents, in which we have Pietro and Wanda hiding under this bed as they see a Stark bomb right in front of them. And we do have like Wanda trying to reach out to it, but little do they know this was a fake bomb in the first place. This wasn't even real, and due to them thinking it was real, they were basically stranded for 2 days. Agatha notices that this isn't the memory which Wanda alluded to, where she was all alone and broken, and therefore leading to the next tragic memories of hers, being captive and being a test subject by Hydra. But Wanda is in fear. She doesn't want to relive that memory again because it was very scary for her, and she was very hesitant to go in. But we then have Agatha sending Wanda to the Hydra basement, where we see Wanda being radicalized by Hydra and being used as a test subject along with her brother. And we basically have, as I said, Wanda being a test subject with the Mind Stone. And we got the reveal that whoever came in contact with the Mind Stone basically died. But when it was Wanda's turn, and as she came into contact with the Mind Stone, not only did it greatly improve her powers, but it also allowed her to get this vision of herself as the Scarlet Witch, which was so great to see. Obviously, this is foreshadowing to the Scarlet Witch becoming a thing for the MCU pretty soon and leading to Wanda taking up the alias of Scarlet Witch. And we do kind of get a hint to that towards the end of the episode because throughout the MCU, no one has ever called her that. She was only called Wanda. But then towards the end of the episode, let's just say something happens. Now, Agatha is convinced that this still isn't the reason for Wanda wanting to create Westview, and she mentions that she has a theory, but she wants to see more, in which the time moves on, and then we basically have Vision comforting Wanda, who is basically grieving her brother's death after the events of Avengers Age of Ultron in the Avengers compound. And as I said, we have Wanda and Vision in the same room. And surprise, surprise, this is the first time they're able to get along so well and basically fall in love. But then we see how Wanda basically has been dealing with these tragic things and how she has basically suffered with these blows, with her parents dying and then her brother dying as well. And Vision tells her that he basically was never able to feel these things before because he was just created and he basically was all alone. He didn't have anything. But then we end up getting this great line by Vision, and he tells Wanda, "What is grief if not love persevering?" This basically underlines how important it is to grieve and deal with the loss, not basically avoiding it as Wanda has done before Vision has told her this line. But we then head to a moment after Endgame where Wanda goes to SWORD's headquarters and meets with Director Hayward himself. And as it turns out, Wanda did not storm the facility and steal Vision's body, like Hayward said that she did. So we clearly have a secondary main antagonist going on over here, and I'm very interested to see how that story plays out. But Wanda does see Vision's body, but he is dismantled, and Wanda gets angry by this, in which she breaks the glass and goes to the facility where Vision is being dismantled, and basically Wanda touches Vision's head and she realizes that she cannot feel him, and she basically gives her final goodbyes to Vision and then she leaves. But we finally see the moment happen. We finally see how Wanda was able to create Westview, where we see Wanda going to the original Westview, where it didn't look as happy as it did during the sitcoms that we saw, but rather it was the total opposite. At least for me, it didn't look that great. But she and Vision had basically planned to settle in Westview once the Thanos mess was over. But since Vision died, she basically breaks down at the home and she basically breaks into tears and starts crying. But as that happens, her powers basically blast off and the whole town is turned into a 60s sitcom, which is basically what happens during the first episode, with every citizen coming under Wanda's control in a matter of seconds. So Wanda was indeed behind Westview all along, but she was telling the truth. She did not know how all of this started. It just magically happened because of her feeling in a certain way. But obviously we see the hex created and Wanda finally reunites with Vision, well, at least a version of Vision. But Agatha Harkness, who obviously was able to witness all of this, ends up luring Wanda to the streets of Westview, where she has Wanda's twins in her grasp and she's basically choking the two of them and the kids are crying for help. As she says, Wanda does not realize how dangerous she is. She is using chaos magic uncontrolled, and that makes Wanda, as Agatha says, the Scarlet Witch, which obviously is a reference to what Wanda will end up becoming by the end of WandaVision by the looks of it, which I cannot wait to see, and obviously alluding to that vision that Wanda saw with the Mind Stone during the Hydra test subject thing with the whole Mind Stone thing. So I am very interested to see how that goes. Now we do then have a post-credit scene where we see Tyler finally succeeding to recreate Vision like he wanted, and he basically weaponized it for his needs. And I think this is the original Vision, is not the fake Vision that we saw in WandaVision with the original, well, somewhat of original Vision's memories. He looks to be light blue by the looks of it. It is hard to tell because of the whole lighting in the area, but clearly he isn't going to put this Vision into good use. He's going to use it for his plans, and I'm very interested to see how that all plays out. But overall, this was a very good episode. This was definitely my favorite episode of the whole season. And this is the penultimate episode, so I cannot wait to see how everything comes to an end during the finale. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this episode. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.